Did you know Belle has a hidden talent? In Lily's arc, where she started acting as a supporter inside the dungeon, Eina was full of suspicion about the supporter, since she belonged to the Soma family, and until now, Eina hadn't heard or seen anything good about that family, especially after talking to Loki and Rivera about them. One day, Eina became overwhelmed with suspicion and concern for Belle, mainly because he was entering the dungeon with a supporter who, in her eyes, didn't look like good news. So Eina went to Hestia to talk about it, mentioning that she was worried about Belle, but that he probably wouldn't listen to her in this matter, especially since she was the one who encouraged him to hire a supporter in the first place. She wanted to ask Hestia for help in convincing Belle to stop seeing the supporter, but Hestia's response here is honestly surprising. She's worried about Belle and understands Eina, but she won't do anything. Hestia says that Belle chose that supporter and decided to help her, even if she's in trouble and might cause problems for him, and he's very stubborn about that. However, the main point is that Belle is exceptional at reading people. Hestia says that Belle is as good as the gods themselves at reading people, at knowing whether they are good or bad people, and that is an unexpected surprise and huge revelation. According to Freya, Belle has the purest soul in the mortal realm, and he was raised directly by Zeus, who is an extremely important god in this world story. That makes me wonder if maybe Belle learned this from Zeus, not that the god taught him directly, but maybe just by living with him, Belle grew up in that way. Because even though it is just a line from Hestia, it makes sense. So far, Belle has never really been wrong about people. He truly is very good at reading them, though not so much when it comes to romance. It's no wonder that now, in the 5th season, he realizes something is off with Sheer and Freya and wants to help them. And well, there's a lot of things you don't know about Danmachi yet, and I'm here to tell it to you guys. So subscribe to the channel to receive new contents and give me your like to support the video. In second place, did you know that people think Eina is in love with Belle? One day, Eina was inside the guild office while a storm raged outside, with heavy rain pouring down on the city and making everyone run from the streets as fast as they could. But Eina was calmly working inside the guild, as always, doing some extra work. Along with her, everyone else was doing long overtime shifts because the festival was approaching, in this case the Monster Philia, and because of that, there was a lot of work to do. However, Eina wasn't working on the festival anymore, she had already finished that. Now she was reviewing the profile of Belle Cornell, the newest adventurer she had taken under her care. She was writing a report to update her team leader about the adventure, and Misha, her colleague, was surprised that Belle, an adventurer for just 2 weeks, had already reached the 5th floor, while Eina simply called him arrogant and lucky for not having died yet, frowning and speaking with concept for the boy. And while she gave a mini speech about how Belle was doing responsible things and how she wouldn't allow him to go deep again, Misha asked if she wasn't being a bit overprotective, asking if Eina was in love with Belle, and surprisingly, Eina was left speechless, completely unprepared for the question. Her heart started racing wildly the moment she heard it, and in the day before, Belle had shouted that he loved her after she gave him some tips about eyes, and that was still fresh in her mind. So even though it wasn't a real confession, due to Belle's innocence, Eina blushed all over. At that moment, she began to think that he's like a little brother, remembering how she would scold him while he apologized, and wondering what that boy was doing right now. But yeah, Eina was pretty much in love with Belle already, and the people, even as joking, was questioning this. In third place, do you know how special Hestia Knife is? We know that Hestia created the Hestia Knife with Hephaestus after begging her longtime friend for this favor, going full Dogeza for days until the goddess finally asked Hestia why she was doing all that and decided to agree to make the weapon. In return, Hephaestus clearly stated that Hestia would pay for the weapon, and to pay the loan she would start to working for Hephaestus, and that is a big deal. The Hestia Knife became a 30-year loan with 420 payments from Hestia, and until it's fully paid off, she would be forced to work at the Hephaestus family's shop located in the Babel, one of the family's major stores. And the reason it's so expensive is simple. To create the Hestia Knife, they used Hestia's hair, her blood, the ichor within it, and hieroglyphs, which is considered the divine script, and it's rarely used. By using Hestia's blood, her ichor, and divine hieroglyphs, it became a weapon with its own status, a living weapon. The Hestia Knife gains experience alongside its user and grows with them. However, only those with Hestia Blessing can use it. For anyone else, it's nothing more than trash. This knife was designed to not be too strong at first, but to grow over time, so that's when its user, Belle, becomes the strongest, the best in the world, it will will also become the greatest weapon that exists. This knife is so overpowered that the Hephaestus even considered it bad for business, since with it, Bell would never need another main weapon again. This knife is that broken. In 4th place, did you know that Freya doesn't mind killing Bell while playing with him? It all started during Monsterphilia, which is when she first begins to think about it. In the lower levels of the Coliseum, a filthy dark place with barely any light, there were several monster cages lined up in the storage area. The monsters were kept there in preparation for the Monsterphilia, so they were wild and just waiting for the chance to break free, which would soon happen due to the event. Members of the Ganesha family were guarding this storage area, and when the manager of the team went to check why her subordinates hadn't taken the next monsters to the Coliseum attraction, she found all of them collapsed on the floor. They were alive and breathing, but their eyes were empty, like puppets with their strings cut. They were living people with no life inside. And when she examined the room to figure out what happened, Freya, who wasn't standing behind her, reacted first, enchanting her and telling her to stay still. She blocked the adventurer's vision and paralyzed her with her beauty. Here, Freya used a devastating charm whose nature is impossible to fully understand. She used this to break these adventurers' minds and rob them of their will. And then she took the key to the monsters' cages. Freya doesn't have any combat skills to fight anyone, but she's far from defenseless. Her weapon is her beauty. It's a power that can be resisted with logical reason. Even other gods haven't fallen under her spell, so humans and monsters never stood a chance against her charm. And when she arrived at the monster storage area, all of them fell silent in the presence of the goddess. And there she chose one, Silverback, a silver gorilla. She released him and the monster obeyed, and that was obvious because this was all meant to be a game with Belcranel. At this point she thinks it's a shame. She wanted to see him grow a little before doing anything. She already knew how alarmingly fast he was growing. She could see his improvement. After all, nothing is hidden from the gods. But still, she wanted to play with him. She wanted to prank the one she loved. She couldn't stop herself. The thought of not being with him, despite her great love, hurt her heart. She wanted to see him scared, hear him cry, but above all, see his courage. So Freya enchanted Silverback even more, thinking about the chance that he might kill Bell, but she ignored that. If he died, she would chase after him, leaving the lower world to pursue him across the space and time, to hold him. Freya's eyes sparkled with love and tenderness, but her smile revealed a love for cruelty, an absolutely wicked smile that would make anyone tremble just by seeing it. And so she further enchanted the Silverback and began to execute her plan for the young boy, not minding if Belcranel ended up dying. In 5th place, did you know that at first, Eina suspected Bell of being a pervert? I have mentioned before that Bell's original goal when coming to Orario was to get girls and find women in the dungeon. It's simple, if he can get a girl, he's happy. That is Belcranel in the first days. He wanted to become an adventurer because he wanted to meet beautiful women he had never seen before. He wanted to be like the heroes in the stories he read, having faithful encounters and being heroic. Bell is very simple and very impure if you look at this young boy. Because of that, after he registered at the guild, in fact, even during his registration, Eina always looked at Bell with clear suspicion and doubt, because he constantly gave off a sketchy, love-struck vibe. Even when talking to her, he acted like a guy who only thought about indecent stuff. So yes, Bell was really an idiot who only thought about women, to the point where even Eina got suspicion of him and doubted the boy. Even Eina ended up like that with him. In 6th place, did you know that Bell enjoyed being crushed by Demeter? It all started one day when Hestia came back exhausted from her job at the Hephaestus shop. There she saw Bell having fun with Lily by his side, got super jealous and ran off to drink and drown her sorrows with Miaha. The next day she woke up with a massive hangover and started throwing out hints to Bell until he invited her to dinner, an extravagant dinner at a high-class restaurant. And Hestia immediately accepted, getting up and heading out to take a bath at one of the Divine Public's baths in Orario, since right now she was smelling like alcohol. And there at the public bath, he ran into Demeter after a long time without seeing her. After some conversation, Demeter found out Hestia was going on a date and was completely shocked. After all, Hestia is one of the 3 virgin goddesses who rejected countless gods in the Tenkai, and that created a huge fuss to find out who the guy was, making Hestia run out of the bath to get ready for the date with Bell. So she went to meet the boy, but the curiosity of the goddess can't be contained, and as soon as they spotted Hestia and Bell together, they ran after them. A storm of goddess surrounded the two, and Demeter, the ringleader of the cult, Chaos was the first to grab Bell and crush him with her breasts, not even letting him breathe. But Bell, being the pervert he is, instead of running or doing anything else, just looked at Hestia and said he could die happy now, which of course made Hestia kick him. But that is for today, guys. Comment below your thoughts and opinions, like which facts you liked more, subscribe to the channel to support my work and give me a like to support the video. Now I'm out.